Welcome to There is a Method to the Madness. My name is Maxwell. I'm an exercise physiologist and personal trainer. I'm the owner of Maxwell's fitness programs and have been in business since 1994. The purpose of this podcast is to give you the real deal of what really works and most importantly, why things work. Hence the name, There is a Method to the Madness. Let me first thank our sponsors, Jonathan and Lynn Gilden of the Gilden Group at Realty Pros. They are committed to providing the highest level of customer service in home sales. They have the reviews, they have the sales to back that up. Give them a shout at 386-451-2412 and they'll let you know what your home is worth. So I'm going to tell you a couple stories today. It is story time. Now, in both of these stories, one of them is going to be almost exactly how the person was because I remember it so well and it was actually a good thing. And then sadly, the first one is going to be kind of a collection because it's sadly a little too similar in how many people approach getting into better shape in regards to body composition. So let me start with that one. Let's get the old negative out of the way first. Now, if you're listening, and you are, obviously, you know, or I should say if you've been listening for a while, you know that I've been doing this for a while, 30 years, and people are pretty similar over the course of my time doing this. Like people are people, kind of like the Great Depeche Mode song of the 1980s. I mean, they really are. People don't change a whole lot. So you have a lot of experience to listen to with me, and you kind of get the inside of what a personal trainer thinks and, what they go through. And I think that's good. I think like you hearing it that way might help you possibly change some things by hearing it kind of in the third person view a little bit. And that's why I think that stories sometimes hold a lot of value. So one of the things that I've gone through probably so many times is when people have come in and their primary goal is to lose weight. Now, earlier on, that was my number one goal as far as people that would call. It's not anymore, and thankfully, because it can be very exhausting for both parties, and I have limited control over that. Like if somebody wants to know how to do the strength exercises they need to do to make their body stronger, I mean, I have a lot of control over that. That's easy. That's like, okay, let's do this. Or if somebody needs a specific workout program for something specifically, or they want to work on speed, they want to work on strength, whatever. There's so much control within that because all of that, almost all of it happens in the gym. So the person's there, I'm there, we can get it done. But like with weight loss, so much of that, if not all of that, happens outside of the gym. I have very little control over that. Not that I'm this massive control freak. I can be, but that has nothing to do with this situation. But what it does have to do with is the fact that I can lead the horse to water, so to say, but I cannot make him drink. And that's very frustrating as a trainer because a lot of people just don't do what is recommended for them to do. So that's where these stories kind of come in. So a person will come in, they'll say, okay, so my main thing is I want to lose weight. Okay, so do the assessment, figure out where they're at. Now, how much, Mrs. Smith, do you want to lose? And then I'll give you my recommendation. I want to lose 30 pounds. Okay, so we've checked your body fat and it's 31%. Let's focus a little bit more on that number versus losing the weight, because the weight could be muscle, water, it's really more important to lose body fat, although I know what you're saying. You want to bring that weight down. So instead of saying 30 pounds, let's say 20 pounds, but we're going to lose 4% body fat over the course of 3 months. Okay, yeah, that sounds great. Like if that's coming off and my pants fit better and all that, I'm happy. We'll do that. Okay. So this is what we need to do. We're going to work out 2 times per week, working on strength. We're going to really focus on the strength because that's how we crank up the metabolism. And plus, of course, we need fitness. It's not just about weight loss. Yes, I get all that. And then you're going to have to do some cardio. We're going to do this. I want you to do this. Okay, I'll do that. Okay. So now what I need you to do is I need you to keep a food log for me for 3 days. Well, I can tell you what I eat. Okay, that's good. I understand, but statistics show that we kind of unrepresent what we eat by 30%. So most people underestimate what they eat by 30%. And it's been my experience that if a person keeps a food log and documents it, they have a lot of success. So we're not going to be able to tackle this thing unless we really can change the diet. And the first part of changing the diet is a food log because of what I just said and the fact I can see what your natural eating habits are so I can make some changes based on how you eat because you'll be more likely to follow it. Okay, I don't really want to do that. I don't know that it's overly necessary, but I'll do it. Okay, great. So I'm already going into this thinking, why did I sign up for this? This isn't going to go well. Now, keep in mind, it's a different story in 2024 because I don't do that anymore. It just doesn't work for either party. It's too frustrating. So, but back in the day, that was the conversation. So a few days go by, usually tell a person to do their food log over the weekend, so we get a good Thursday or Friday and then a Saturday and Sunday. So I get a good representation of what they eat. And this is back when we used to write things down and all I had to do is write it down. I didn't have to figure anything out. I would do a lot. Just write it down. Very simple. Tuna sandwich, write it down. Tuna sandwich, bag of chips, whatever. Stopped and got a coffee, write it down. I'll do all the math. I'm going to do the hard part, just write it down, not asking too much. Come back in on Monday. Okay, so how's it going? Good. I did my walk. I like to walk. I walked with my friend. Good. Come on time. Great. Good. That's good. So can I have your food log? Well, as I said the other day, I know what I eat. I can just tell you. So you didn't do your food log? No. I started it and I didn't do it. So, okay. So, I kind of give them like one more chance. And I said, in order to really see results, I'm going to have to get you to write these things down or else we're kind of like not going to be able to figure some stuff out. Okay. So I'll write it down. So twisting their arms, so to say, they come back in, let's say on Thursday. Did you do a food log? Well, I did one day. Okay, can I see it? Let me look at it. So, there'll be morning time, skipped breakfast. They don't even say it. It's just, there's nothing there. So, what did you have for breakfast? Oh, I ordinarily don't eat breakfast. So, well, did you have some coffee? Yes. You know what? I did have some coffee. Okay. So did you put anything in that coffee? Well, yeah. I don't drink it black. I had some creamers. Okay. So you kind of did have breakfast. You just had some creamer in this. Yes. And come to think of it, I did have a half of English muffin too. So here I am sitting down and I'm writing coffee and creamer on their little, piece of paper that they pulled out of their purse. And then I write English muffin half down. Then I read, Subway, half a sub, didn't finish it. So what kind of sub was this? Well, I think it was ham and cheese. Okay, so was that on white bread or wheat bread? Well, their bread, whatever it was. Okay, so, I kind of fill in the blanks there. And then, then they write down, they have dinner. So they have a little bit of, let's say, I had some chicken. That was good, right? And it was fried. And then I had, whatever came with it. It was a little bit of stuffing. It was a small salad. And then I had 2 chocolates. Okay, what kind of chocolates? Little Hershey's Kisses. Okay. So that's all you had all day. Did you drink anything? Oh, I had water, and that's it. Yep. Oh, wait, I did have some alcohol. Well, how much? Well, 3 glasses of wine in the evening. So I write that down for him. So, I go through it and I, being new, I take it home and I do the work. I figure out what their, caloric input was and their macronutrients. And then I kind of give it back to them and I'll say, okay, so here are the changes we're going to have to do. Oh, okay. And then I say, look, we need to continue to have a food log and diary. And what we're going to do is you're going to bring that in, at least until we kind of really start to get on top of this. We're going to weigh in once a week and we're going to compare that to what you're eating. So make a long story short on that is most of the time in these cases, the food log would never reappear again. And if it did, it would be half-assed, not done, made up on the fly, written on the back of a receipt in the car before they walked in. And you can imagine that the weight did not come down. I mean, as I've said before in my book, You Can't Outrun a Poor Diet, it's great that they're making it to the gym every Monday and Thursday. And it's great that they're doing their walks with their friends, moving. But if you don't change the diet, it ain't going to happen. All right. So that's scenario one. Now I got scenario two. There's a guy who every so often, it's funny, like every few years, he'll contact me because he puts on a little bit of weight and he wants to get the weight off. And he knows the accountability, the kick in the butt, the structure helps him very much. And so what happens is, hey, Rob, I need your help again to, lose some weight. I'll say, oh, okay. So, and this guy, he's a doctor. So, that's good. So he knows his stuff, but that doesn't mean anything just because we know our stuff, right? And this is the positive story. So this isn't a bad thing. This is a good thing. This is a good outcome. So I'll joke with him a little bit and I'll say, you kind of let it slip away again, huh? Yeah, this happened, that happened, but I didn't let it get too far out. I just really need to, get back about 25 pounds and lose some body fat. Okay. So I'll say, all right, tell you what I want you to do is get out your tape measure at home, because this is a guy who did his strength training and stuff and really kind of needed the online coaching that I was doing there for a long time. I still do some of it, but he really was into the online coaching thing that we would do. So I'd say, this is what I need you to do. Get out your tape measure. So get on the scale in the morning, wait till morning time, weigh naked, then get out your tape measure. And I want you to get an assessment of your belly fat. So take the tape measure, go right around your belly button, tell me what that number is, and send that back to me tomorrow morning, those numbers. And also for 3 days, I want you to keep a food log. And, we can do this electronically. I've done it differently with him, or we can write it down. He says, I don't really like to use those apps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all in an email for you, and I'm going to email it to you after the end of 3 days. And you can check it out. And then if you would, make the recommendations to give me a diet pack. I say, okay. So, the next day, as soon as I wake up in my email, the first thing would be his weight and his waist measurement. And I'd look at that and I'd save it and I'd say, okay. And of course I'd respond and I'd say, very good, good start. So don't forget to get me your food diary in 3 days from now. I know I don't need to say, don't forget to you. So in 3 days I would get it and it would be detailed. It would say 8 at home, 1/2 a cup of oatmeal, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1/2 cup of walnuts, 1 slice of toast, literally. Snack, 10 a.m., whey protein mixed with low-fat milk. I mean, to the T. Tell me the brand even. Lunch, same thing. Next snack, because he typically did eat 5 times a day, and then dinner. And he'd send it to me. And then he would say, probably where I'm slipping is this is the alcohol, the desserts, and plus I'm eating out too much. So I'm going to give you my typical eat out meal. Boom. Send it to me. I'd look at it, analyze it, see where he's at, send him back a very specific diet because I know that's how he does best. And I would send it to him. He'd read it, reply the next day, and he might say something like, you might not remember, but I really, really hate peas. Is there any other green vegetable I can have besides the peas? And I'd say, well, okay, so peas decent in protein, but how about like lima beans? No. Send it back to him. No, lima beans aren't going to work. Say, all right, so how about green beans? Can you do green beans? Yes, you know what? I can do green beans. Say, all right. So we would negotiate. And by the way, this is a true story. All of this with the lima beans and peas and green beans, yeah, this is dead on accurate coming back at you. So we'd negotiate that because that's important. That's why we do a food log. It's important. So I can tell them to eat a certain way that I eat. And if the person hates the certain foods I eat, like for example, I like organic low-fat cottage cheese. I sent that to a friend of mine in California as a recommendation for protein, and all I got back was the throw up face. Hates cottage cheese, thinks it's the most disgusting thing in the world. Okay, I'm not going to say eat cottage cheese then. He's not going to. Like the whole deal is to create a win-win. Use my experience, expertise to help somebody who is trying to get better. Good communication. So then we would establish it. I would then, after we talk about the changes we have to make based on what he would eat, he would eat it to a T. I would even say, hey man, you can like be a little bit less disciplined in your case. You're so good. You're at the point now where if you want to substitute out, like, let's say this half a cup of rice for a half a cup of whole wheat pasta, you can do that at this point. No. I'd rather not do that. And again, I'm giving you two far end examples. I understand that for a lot of people, that comes across as extremely OCD. And you know what? It is. But you also know what? It works. Like, it works. I'm giving you two extremes. One that works, one that does not work. One that completely follows instructions. Another one that refuses to pick up and follow the instructions given to them. So a week would go by, there'd be an instant loss of some weight. 2 weeks would go by, there'd be a significant loss, meaning the person, this gentleman, was feeling better. A month would go by, he would have lost over 12 pounds in the first month, every month. 3 months has gone by, and he always hit his goal weight. Now, he knows at that point it was hard, so how do we maintain that rigorous discipline? Because obviously that becomes the problem. So there is no perfect solution, right? And anybody that falls into that's very like feast or famine, so to say, understands that is a potential problem. But I'm giving you the two scenarios, the two stories of what I see as a trainer. And one is unwilling to do what they need to do, whether they don't trust, whether they don't want to, whether they're not being honest, whether they're just really looking for simpler solutions that are not being offered. I don't know. I just know that I won't write it down. I know what I eat. I know better than you. Attitude absolutely does not work. And I know okay, but can we do this? And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do all of the steps that you recommend. Absolutely does work. Now, if you're in that situation with weight loss, because mostly this comes down to weight loss. I mean, people battle food. People battle it. It is hard. It is not easy to eat disciplined. It is not easy to eat right. It is absolutely worth it. And it becomes easier the more you do it. I mean, how many times has this gentleman told me that once he's in the groove, like a couple weeks, he doesn't miss the wine he was drinking. He doesn't miss the extra dessert he was doing when he wasn't following a discipline plan. He doesn't miss it. It becomes easier as we do it, and it's well worth it. But I'm acknowledging that it is hard to do. So which one do you want to be? Do you want to be the but, and I know everything, and that's why I'm not having success, and I'm going to continue to fight you even though I'm paying you person? Or do you want to be the person that just says, you're the boss. Tell me what to do. I'll do it. And I guess the question also is, do you want it to work or not? I mean, it's that simple, and only you can answer it. Now let's think overhead door of Daytona Beach, the best garage door company in Volusia County, owned by Jeff and his son, Zach Hawk. Two awesome individuals. By the way, Zach is one that's been following it almost to a T, and he is seeing the fruits of his labor by far, losing 25 pounds recently. So give Overhead Door a shout at 386-222-3165.